The Liverpool Reaction, an American LFC podcast, starts now. Well, guys, here we go again. So Liverpool takes a 1-0 defeat in Istanbul against Galatasaray. Although Liverpool has fond memories of Istanbul due to the 2005 uh, European Cup Championship there, the Champions League Cup. The problem is Liverpool doesn't necessarily do well in group stages against Turkish opposition. So the 1-0 result, although it's disappointing, it's not that far off from what Liverpool tend to do out there as a club. I think the more concerning thing for us as Liverpool fans is the performance. I mean, we can all say that. We started the campaign in the Champions League with a win, but it took a last-minute heroic from Virgil van Dijk. We've won, 6 out of 7 or 5 out of 6 games in the Premier League, but us Liverpool fans know that we are a little bit lucky, and I think everybody that follows the league knows that Liverpool has been fortunate with a lot of late goal drama. Although that being part of Liverpool's DNA, we all know that. The problem is the performances, and Arne Slot is trying to find and tinker a lineup that he can trust. But what is really happening in the lineups, and are we maybe trying to force people in because of price tags, like Verts, like Ekitike, although Ekitike has really started the Premier League strong and started his career at Liverpool in a really good form. I think really when you think about what is happening here, we have a lot of new players. That's no new news there. And also, we thought that this transition year would take a little bit of time for them to mesh and gel. And we've seen flashes of what this team could look like, but I think we were spoiled as fans because of what happened as from a result standpoint versus the performance standpoint. So I'm not happy. I'm not saying we should be happy, but I think there are some easy, maybe potential fixes on how to go about this. And I'm going to cover that in a little bit. But couple things to kind of consider here also. The lineup was interesting. Salah was not a starter. And although Arne Slot said that, he has to monitor people's minutes, we all know Salah loves to play. And let's be frank, Salah has lost a half step or something's going on. Maybe there's a little injury that's kind of hampering him, but he's not the same Salah of last year. And I anticipated that at the beginning of this year. The performance last year, everything flowed through him, and now not much flows through him. And he's not getting as many opportunities. But I think even if we did flow towards Salah, I don't think he would have had any better results than he currently has. He doesn't look as explosive. He doesn't look as threatening. So I think that this is more of a benching than it is a minute restriction. I could be wrong, but I really believe that. Um, when you think about some other performances throughout the squad, there's one that keeps popping up to me, and it's Kanate. Kanate on his day is an extremely physical, quick, fast, no nonsense defender. But on his off day, he looks like he's lost. And this inconsistency between being really good and really poor, we got to shore that up. I'm not sure if his head's in Madrid. There's been some rumors that Liverpool believe they're closer to signing him on a long-term contract, but I don't know. You definitely don't want to lose players for free. but realistically, he's not he's not up to snuff right now, and that's really impacting the team long term, and short term, really, with these performances. Some injury concerns that popped up. Allison, something with him sprinting back on him saving one of Osimhen's many shots that he had to face. Again, Allison was up to the task. Almost even saved the penalty kick. By the way, that penalty kick was soft, very soft. I really don't like it when players kind of overreact to physical contact. It's the part of soccer that many Americans just dislike. Um, and the play acting. Uh, Granted, Saboslai kind of hit this guy in the face a little bit, but his arm was going backwards, barely touched him, and the guy made it look like he got punched in the face. Anyway, Osherman scores, but they had many opportunities throughout the game to really extend their lead, and Allison was up to the task. But getting back to the injury, I think Mamadarashvili is going to be more than ample cover. So I'm not as concerned about Allison's injury as I am Ekitike's, but the more I'm hearing about Ekitike's injury is that it's short term as well. So I anticipate that they'll be held out. Well, I know for sure Allison, Slot said Allison will be held out of the game on Saturday versus Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. And Ekitike has a chance of playing. But I think with the international break, if these guys can have a break and just kind of be ready for 3 weeks' time, I believe we are, let's see, who are we playing? We got Manchester United. So we want to make sure that they're ready for that one. United always plays to their competition, so we can expect a tough battle there. But when you look at everything that's kind of happening, got me thinking, well, how can we stabilize the squad? How can we create some sort of structure where we are not torched on every single counterattack? And I think the answer lies in the midfield. So it's no secret Florian Wirtz has had a very rough start to the Premier League. Um, there are some concerning things that are happening from a physical standpoint. He is being bullied off the ball. I feel like he's a little bit hesitant to go full blast into tackles. You see him kind of pulling out a little bit early. And I think for his sake and for the team's sake, he needs to sit. And we need to get back to our McAllister, Saboslai, Gravenberch midfield. I think this is really important because it stabilizes the middle of the park. The three of them know how to play together. Saboslai is a runner, so he can get upfield and get back if needed. Gravenberch has claimed that he has more license to go up front. I think we need to take that license away. Let's have him kind of sit back and sit in front of the back four, and have McAllister kind of be the link-up play between the two. McAllister is a very, very good player. I think him not being healthy at the beginning of the season has been really the linchpin of our demise, so to speak, because with him in there, you have somebody that can pick a pass, that can unlock a defense, can start the transition with a pass, and that just hasn't been happening lately. Now, when you think about Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, okay, they don't have Cole Palmer, but they're a tough team. And they have two defensive midfielders as well, Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo. So those two guys are defensive midfielders, but Enzo is getting more up the field. So I think realistically, if we win that midfield battle, we will do well. So how should we set up? Well, we know Mamardashvili will be the goalkeeper. We know Virgil will play. Is it time to give Joe Gomez a shot and sit Kanate? I think so. I think it is. Kirkez on the left. I know he's had a rough start to to life at Anfield, but he's a solid player. I thought there were signs of him uh, gaining confidence throughout the game in at Galatasaray. I'm not saying that right properly. I don't know. I don't know why I'm not saying that. But anyway, you know who I'm talking about. And on the right, I think it's time that Connor Bradley gets his place back because that will move Szoboszlai up to the midfield. So I mentioned the midfield. So what do we do up front? Well, if Ekitike is not available, I think this was Isak's game regardless because Ekitike's red card prevented him from playing against Crystal Palace. So I think this is a Isak game for sure. I think you bring Salah back into the fold or leave Frimpong there. I'm fine with either. And then on the left-hand side, it's got to be Gakpo. Gakpo is a good player, but he's extremely predictable. He likes to cut inside and unleash a shot. Kirkez overlaps him all the time. I don't think in the games that they've played together, I don't think I've seen one pass from Gakpo hitting Kirkez on the overlap. So whenever he cuts inside, defenses can know that they don't have to worry about Kirkez on the outside. And I think if he just feeds him the ball a couple times, that will open up a lot of space for him. So when he cuts inside, now they have to respect the outside overlap, and he'll have more room to operate. The problem with Gakpo cutting inside is he's taking away space from Isak and from Ekitike, and I'm not sure that that's exactly what we need to do or what we have to do. So interested in seeing how Slot will tinker with this, but I think the key is in the midfield. Let's win that midfield battle with our trusted midfield, and then we can bring in Verts in the last 25, 30 minutes, I think, and really with some tired legs around him, maybe he can operate a little bit better. The reality is we have to get his confidence up. I'm not worried long term by any stretch. He's a world-class player. He'll figure it out. But short term, I am a little worried. And I think he needs to sit a little bit, kind of watch the game. He has a very high IQ when it comes to football. So I think he'll figure it out. But we need to get a result at Chelsea. So I'm kind of curious what everybody's thoughts are. Would you prefer a victory and a crappy result, or a crappy performance, or would you prefer a really good performance and a draw? I think it's an interesting question, because you always do want the points, but we need to see some performances. We need to see the team starting to gel together. And if not, when are they going to gel together? Well, when you have two new fullbacks, when you have a new midfielder, when you have a new forward, two new forwards, but when these positions are occupied by newer players, it's going to take time. That's the reality. It's going to take time. I have full faith that they will figure it out. I just think us winning the league this year, although Coach mentioned Arsenal is probably the title favorite, if Liverpool starts to figure this out and gets rolling, they better watch out. Everybody better watch out. Next month's games, we got United, also Frankfurt in Frankfurt for Champions League. Then we play Brentford at Brentford, and then guess what? We play Crystal Palace in Carabao Cup for the third time this year. So we've lost in penalty kicks. We've gotten our butts whooped at Crystal Palace, and now Crystal Palace is coming to Anfield. Crystal Palace is a solid team, but realistically, with their commitments to Europe on Thursday nights, I think we can. I don't know if that last game in October is going to be the game where they start kind of slowing down a little bit, but I think that can be expected. Now, the United game's exciting, but Chelsea first at Stamford Bridge. I am thinking good performance and like a 2-1 victory, 3-1 victory. I feel that the midfield, like I said, is the key. And let's get some familiarity back into some of those positions where we can execute at a high level. So, saying that, that's going to be it for me today. Coach and I will be back together. I apologize for not being on the stream on Saturday with Coach. I was actually at the Ryder Cup working an event and was deeply, deeply upset about the Crystal Palace performance. I watched the highlights and it was ugly. Liverpool deserved to lose that game, and I'm not so sure against Galatasaray. Said it right that time. That's good. Um, I'm not sure they deserve necessarily to win. It was an ugly game, but regardless, that's it for tonight. Liverpool against Chelsea on Saturday. Coach and I will be back together to discuss that fully and in depth. And if there's any other comments that you may have about what is happening with Liverpool, I'd love to hear about them. Please feel free to comment below. And for those listening on podcasts, please feel free to send a shout out there. And we look forward to talking to you next time. Take care, everybody. Coach and I want to take a second to thank everybody for watching on YouTube or whether you're listening via podcast. Please subscribe or follow the show wherever you consume your content. We are looking forward to continuing to bring you the best Liverpool content out there. We'll see you next time.